It's Kalia Monique. My first name's Kalia. My middle name's Monique. It's Kalia Monique, and today I have a haul for you all. Listen, before you jump down my throat, it's a cumulative haul from October to now. This is not like I lied to you guys when I was on a book buying ban and I actually was buying a bunch of books. No, this is a cumulative haul from October, since that was the last time I did a haul. I'm telling you guys now, I will never wait this long again before I do a haul. Like, I love watching haul videos. Like, they're one of my favorite videos to watch. But actually filming one? You might have noticed that I'm standing today. The books took over. I can't sit down. This is my own fault. Once again, this is yet another tactic of mine to shame myself into not buying any more books, because that March book buying ban has me itching. Like, I really want to buy books so bad. Anyways, let's hurry up and get to this haul because it's going to be a long one. It's also later in the day, like evening time, and I have my wine because, like I said, I'm ashamed. It was very humbling for me to count out how many books of mine I have not yet read. I don't want to talk about it, okay? I don't want to talk about it. It's just so exhausting. Oh my god, no pictures, please. I'm yelling at them to just leave, get out, like leave now. We don't need to go through all this. Why are you heading towards trauma on purpose? I love you too. You're literally sunshine as a person, but thank you. Thank you so much. So one disclaimer for this haul. Like I said, this is a cumulative haul from literally every book that I have acquired since October, which was my birthday month, so that was the last haul I did. And some of these are from book boxes. I have monthly subscriptions to Illumicrate, and then I am also subscribed to the Very Loot adult book only box and Book of the Month. So those are my 3 monthly subscriptions with no particular order, because literally after I got all these books out, I didn't have the energy to order them. So with no particular order, let's get into this. Actually, let's go ahead and start off with books boxes. Like, that's going to be the only thing that has any form of togetherness. I'm not going to remember which month was which book. Like, no. First up, though, I do have the March. Wow, I literally just said I wasn't going to worry about which month these books were, but here I am worrying about it. I believe this was March, and this was an Illumicrate edition of Gallant. I will also preface this with, I'm not going to give a synopsis for the books because I don't know the synopsis for most of the books. I know the vibes, and I will talk about why I am interested in them, but I don't read synopsis. So, first up, from the March, I believe, Illumicrate box, I have Gallant by Ve Schwab. A young girl who is familyless ends up finding her family in some way and gets an invite to a manor to meet her family, but it turns out nobody in that manor sent the invite. Nobody knows that she exists, and so yeah, there's like this like eerie atmosphere with that one. Next up, I have the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. This is the Fair Loot adult box with the stunning end papers that you guys can't see because I have things here, but beautiful end papers. This is the very first box, so I believe March, and this is about some trials of sorts. There are 6 contestants, and one of them ain't gonna make it out of this in some way or form. They are vying for a spot in this society, I believe, and it is a competition of sorts, I believe, and like I said, somebody's not making it out of this. I don't know if they die per se, but they're not gonna be in the group anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and say they die, because like, what's the point of you gonna recruit 6 people, one of them won't make it, but you're just gonna let them be? That doesn't seem right to me. I mean, it seems right, but that's why it's wrong. Anyways, next up we have this stunning edition of Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. Haha, by Margaret Owen. This is yet another Illumicrate edition, and just stunning. This is a retelling of the fairy tale The Goose Girl. I don't know nothing about that fairy tale. I don't know much about the synopsis anymore, so I'm not, like, I have nothing for you. It is a retelling of the fairy tale The Goose Girl, which I believe has a handmaiden take the place of a princess, and take the identity of a princess, so that sounds interesting to me. Also, it's Little Thieves, so there is some, like, thievery happening. Oh, it gets even better when you take sorry, I'm being weird. When you take it off, boom, bow, ba-dow, get into it. Get into it. I don't know if it's allowing you to get into it, but literally, you're jealous. I know, because I'm jealous of this book. I want to be as beautiful as this book. Next up, I have River Enchanted. This is by Rebecca Ross, and this is an adult fantasy. Again, a limited edition. Yeah, all of these are going to be a limited because because there's only one Fairy Loot adult, and the other subscription I have that be like this is a limited. So again, a limited edition, a River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This, I don't remember which month this is from, but this is, I believe, a Scottish retelling. It doesn't tell me on here, but I believe it's Scottish. And oh wait, hold on. Never mind. But this is about a young man who has ventured off from his home and has stayed away from like where he has always grown up. Things are happening to where he needs to return to the place that he has grown up in, and this is a place of fantasy, and he must return and work with a woman from his past, and they have this like sordid past. In the January box, we got This Woven Kingdom by Tahir Mafi, and then also the additional book was The Ivory Key by Ashaya Raman. This is a story about 4 siblings that are royalty and must help their kingdom. All I really knew that really draws me to this one is the sibling dynamics. So it is 4 siblings trying to figure out how to not only rule a kingdom, but how to save their people from a big bad that is occurring, I believe. And then This Woven Kingdom is, forbidden Rome. I believe this is a forbidden romance. Yeah, literally. Clashing empires, forbidden romance, and a long-forgotten queen destined to save her people. This was the January box, like I said. And also, I don't want to keep saying get into it, because y'all should already be into it. Like, just, hello. Look at these books. Oh my god. Remember when I said I want to be as beautiful as Little Thieves? I lied. I want to be as beautiful as A Marvelous Light. A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. This is about a young man who is like this serious old brother just set out to protect his younger sister. Gets caught up in some magic. Ends up being an apprentice or something for magic with this like prickly magician, and they end up having to work together to solve some type of fantastic mystery or of some sort. Now, I know y'all didn't think I was about to do a haul and not highlight. Oh my god, no. Jade City, why? The Amazing Greenbone Saga. Hold on, this is not sturdy at all. I'm about to like break my wrist. Hello, don't ruin my face now. The Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. We have Jade City. Oops. Which on the back says On My Honor. And then this has been annotated since then. But we have the beautiful stenciled daggers, and then the beautiful city on the front, and then, oh god, I already don't know where to put things. Jade 4. Toot. On the back it says "On My Life," right? Because that's the quote. And then Jade Legacy on the back says "On My Jade," right? Yeah. See, I read the first book. I know the saying. We have a History of Wild Places. I believe young girls are being kidnapped when it comes to this like forest, and the main character ends up having to solve the mystery, and there's like this fantastical element that deals with it. I believe what drew me to this is that it was advertised as like the first magical realism book of the month, and I really enjoy magical realism, so I definitely wanted to read it. And I believe I forgot to say the author's name, but this is by Shea Earnshaw. Shea Earnshaw. Did I say that right? Yeah. Next up, we have Colson Whitehead's Harlem Shuffle. I believe that this is a heist novel that takes place in like Harlem, but also not like present day Harlem. I thought this took place in like the Harlem Renaissance or something. Harlem Shuffle's ingenious story plays out in a beautifully recreated New York City in the early 1960s. It is a family saga masquerading as a crime novel, a hilarious morality play, a social novel about race and power, and ultimately a love letter to Harlem. Yes. Just yes. Next up, we have The Maid. I do remember getting this one, and I remember because I had picked this one because I thought it was like, it seemed very interesting to me, and then after I had picked this one, I realized that a lot of people were actually looking forward to this book, so that's great. We have The Maid by Nita Prost, and this is about a young woman who is a maid at, I believe, like an inn. And she finds a dead body, and she needs to figure out who killed this older woman, I believe, because she knows that if she doesn't find out who actually did it, they're going to blame her. So I'm all about it. One thing that I found out after getting this is that apparently this is Book of the Month's first cozy mystery, or first book that would be considered a cozy mystery, so I'm definitely interested in reading this one. The tagline thing says here, "A dead body is one mess she can't clean up on her own." Exactly. You know, when there's like, you know, those situations in books that you're like, okay, granted, in real life, I wouldn't actually be in this situation, but if I was going to be in any situation that's in a book, I feel like it would be this one. That's me and The Maid. I feel like if I was like, I don't know, if this was a realistic scenario, I feel like I would be in it. Next up, this one I got in February. I forgot to grab the other book I got in February. That's okay. Here we have Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black. This is a, this story is told in like a collection of letters to a son from a father on his deathbed, essentially apologizing for being a homophobic ass. Another book that I got in February, but I realized I forgot to grab it, is Somebody's Daughter. And this is the memoir of a woman who is talking about what it was like growing up without her father, who was away due to him being incarcerated. That was a really great memoir to read. Next up, we have Fiona and Jane by Jean Chin Ho. This is a story about two Taiwanese American young women who are friends, and it's just about how they navigate life and their friendship as they grow older together, how their friendship progresses over the years, how their relationships with other people progress over the years, and just the women they are, how they navigate their Taiwanese American identities with their individual selves, but also within their friendship and the solidarity they have within their friendships. Next up, we have Dating Dr. Dill by Sheena Sharma, and this is about a doctor here. He is like a TV doctor, or like a real life doctor with a TV show, so like Dr. Oz or something, right? And he's very popular, but a video or something goes viral where he is arguing with this young woman here, and all of a sudden he's not popular. So he then ends up in this like fake dating situation with this woman. So he is a man that does not believe in love, trying to convince a woman that is all about romance to fall for him, I believe. Basically, his career is very much hanging on the balance. He has to convince her to work with him to, you know, be in a fake, I believe it's fake dating, or he's trying to convince her to fall in love with him, but I don't think that's it because he doesn't believe in love. It's the whole thing. Okay, next up we have The Verifiers by Jane Peck. A bunch of women, I believe. Oh, that scared me. A lot of people go missing from a dating app, and this person investigates it. It says here, The Verifiers is a witty and incisive examination of how technology shapes our choices and of the future of romantic love in the digital age. So I believe a bunch of individuals go missing from this dating app, and the main character investigates the disappearances. We have The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. This is very popular. A lot of people love this book. You guys have done it. You convinced me to get it. It's apparently, it started out as Raylo fanfic, and it is about a third-year PhD student who ends up in a fake dating situation with one of the professors. Yep. So next up I have KK by Vaishnavi Patel. If I got either of those names wrong, I apologize. This is based in Hindu mythology, I believe, and it is a retelling of a individual in Hindu mythology who has kind of been seen as like this evil character, but it is her story retold. Next up, I have The Spanish Love Deception. I have been waiting for this book to, oh my god, get into it. Next up, I have The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and this is a romance read that has taken book talk and the whole internet by storm. For some reason, when I went to go get it, it wasn't like there wasn't a physical copy of it. So I literally waited for this book to be physically released once again, because it was like physically released and then all of a sudden it was missing. Like, I don't know what happened. And then it was being re-released in the physical copy. So I was waiting for that to happen, and it hit my bookstore, so I finally got it. And look at it, look at it, look at it. Yes. This is about Catalina, who needs to go to her sister's, I believe, wedding, but she has been telling her family this whole time that she has this great American boyfriend, and she does not. Much to her own demise, she must take Aaron Blackford to her sister's wedding to pose as her great American boyfriend, and she does not like Aaron Blackford. They do not get along. So it is definitely like a fake dating tropes with a like, I don't really think that contemporaries do enemies to the lovers, so I'm going to say just like really can't stand your ass to lovers. That's not an enemy. An enemy is somebody you want to. Next up, I have The Fallen World, the complete series by Laura Dallasa? I don't know. But this here says, there's another book that I got from this. Basically, I'm in my like dark romance fantasy era. And especially when it comes to like indie published or self-published works, and that is exactly what this is. It says here, in the future the world is at war. So basically we have this like dark king and this rebel on opposite sides, but they meet, and you know what happens? Love ends up happening somehow. So it's like an enemies to lovers, dark romance fantasy. Like I said, this one is self-published, and this is the complete collection. What I did not realize in the store, this print is like super, it's not necessarily small, but it is packed on this page. Next up, I have The Paper Daughters of Chinatown, which is based on a true story by Heather B. Moore. Like I said, it is based on a true story about the young women who immigrated from China expecting the American dream from America, and instead were sold into prostitution. So very like a very important story, and also again it is based on a true story, so I definitely wanted to pick this one up. Next I have Music of the Night by Angela J. Ford. This was advertised to me on Instagram like a ton. This author goes hard when it comes to Instagram advertisement, and she's actually, like, you see, gets this here, she is black. So am I. This author is also black, and like I said, I'm in my like romance fantasy era at the moment, especially like dark romance fantasy era. And that's what this book is, but the main character is black like me, so of course any books that I read, I want to see as much representation I can in myself in the book. So unfortunately, there's not very many books I know of that have like a black lead in this place when it comes to paranormal romance or fantasy romance. If you know of any, please let me know. I would love to read them. I always want to like actually see myself on the page, not just imagining that the character is black for the sake of wanting to read it. But also, can we talk about how pretty the like naked book is? And since I bought it from the author's website, she signed it. It says here that this is Phantom of the Opera meets Beauty and the Beast in a gothic-inspired dark fantasy romance. Next up, a book I don't know how to say. And y'all won't help me figure out how to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and say 1Q84 by Haruki Marakami. This is a 1984 retelling that I really want to read. Speaking of which, I bought 1984 by George Orwell. If you don't know what 1984 is about, it's like, it's this man that, Google it. Google it or wait for the video when I read those two books together, because I don't have it in me. I do not. Next up, we have The Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu, I think. And this is about the Library of the Dead. So the main character in this book can speak to the dead. There ends up being this great mystery surrounding this library. Again, she speaks to the dead, so you know. The dead are talking to her to help her solve this mystery surrounding a like hidden magic. Sound very mysterious. Also, sucker for a floppy. Whoa, dust came up. What the hell? I am a sucker for a floppy paperback, especially like these taller ones. Definitely interested in this one. I love the atmosphere that it kind of alludes to, and also I think this cover is quite stunning. I do need to take the sticker off though. I'm just going to wait until I actually read the book though. Next up, I got House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. And since this is the second book, I'm not going to talk about what it's about. Crescent City is about Bryce, who is half fae, half human, and ends up working alongside Hunt, who is this angel, basically police force individual, to solve this string of occurrences happening and trying to solve this great mystery surrounding people that Bryce cares deeply for. So I'm sure there are a ton of people that describe that better. I don't know how not to spoil that book though. So next up I have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I know literally nothing about this book, except that I've heard that I always want to say Morgan Aronstern. If someone please help me. I believe this story in particular has been said to be very similar to Strange the Dreamer, at least in like the atmosphere. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Also very stunning. Unfortunately, my book came a little bit damaged. Something about receiving books from the UK, like they just come so damaged. Like if I don't get it from a book box, it's absolutely going to come to me like torn and like completely damaged. Whew, child. I should have grabbed water. Three more rows, Kalia. You got this, boo. Next up, I have A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair. This was actually gifted to me by my lovely friend Marvin, and this is a Hades and Persephone's retelling, I believe. I really loved A King of Battle and Blood, I believe. Yeah, A King of Battle and Blood. Loved it. Literally loved it. I can't wait for the next book. It was the very first book I read this year. So yeah, I definitely want to get to this one. I think I want to do like a whole Hades and Persephone's moment because I literally have not read their stories since I last read the original like Hades and Persephone's story. So I definitely want to go back to that. I know that their story is very popular at the moment. I kind of want to join, and especially with Scarlett Sinclair, like as much as I love King of Battle and Blood, like if anyone's going to get me back in that era, I feel like it's going to be her. Next up, I have Savage Lands. This is another, like I said, I'm in my romance fantasy, dark romance fantasy era at the moment. This is by Stacey Marie Brown. And again, this is another self-published book. And this takes place in like future Prague or something. Did I just make that up? Almost 20 years after the barrier between Earth and the other world fell into the Ve world, Budapest is what I was thinking of, is balancing on the precipice. A battle of dominance is brewing among the elite Ve and the privileged humans in Eastern Europe. The prejudice between the sides is bubbling with hate and violence. So the main female character in this book is sent to a prison because she is very dangerous, so she is surrounded by very dangerous people, and it ends up being this like contest, I believe. So think like literally all I can think of is like SJM, Throne of Glass, what Selena was going through, or the trials that Farrah ended up having to go through. At least that's how I'm picturing this. But also, again, Throne of Glass, like there's multiple contestants, and I believe there's only one winner. And the person that is overhead all of this is this like evil guy. It's romance fantasy, so Gutsis and the guy end up falling for each other at some point. Also, I love books that are textured like this. I don't know how to explain it. It's extremely smooth. It is, okay, I didn't talk about the texture for any of the other books, but it's literally the same texture as a lot of these books. And it's just super smooth, and I like how it's hardcover, and again, it is self-published, so I really appreciate authors that are in their bag like this, and I really hope I like it because there are other books that are already published in the series, and I really want to get them because I think that this is just beautiful. Also, I just be going to the bookstore and getting books because it's like calls to me, and then all of a sudden it ends up trending on TikTok. So I don't know if it's just because I'm not on TikTok that I don't know that they're popular, or if like because I already have it, I'm more aware of things. I don't know, but apparently this book is also very popular on TikTok. So there's that. We're going to take a little moment to talk about some graphic novels, comic books, and mangas that I have bought recently or gotten recently. So first up we have Volume 1 of Fence. This was gifted to me by my lovely friend Kira as like a happy New Year's gift. Same for Marvin, by the way. He gifted me A Touch of Darkness because of the new year. And same with Kira. Also, I was, like I told you guys, I was supposed to go on a trip with some friends. Kira was one of them. And I couldn't go because I ended up having COVID and, you know, my life was falling apart. But she gifted me this because I had told them that I was very sad. And she was just like, here you go. I hope you feel better. And at this time, she didn't know I was sick or what I was going through. So that was just super kind of her. So thank you, Kira. Really appreciated that. Honestly, these two books at the beginning of the year really brightened my spirits because I was very, very low in spirits at the time. So thank you guys so much. Volume 1 is Fence. This follows a young man who is like the bastard son of this great fencing guy. And his half-brother is like a fencing prodigy. I believe he is also a fencing prodigy, but his father won't claim him because he is not his legitimate son. And so he ends up being like this rival against his half-brother, and it's about him making a name for himself in the fencing world. Next up, I have Full Metal Alchemist, Volume 1 of the Full Metal editions. Full Metal Alchemist follows the Full Metal Alchemist. The Full Metal Alchemist is an alchemist who, after a alchemy experiment gone wrong, ends up losing his leg and arm, and his younger brother ends up losing his physical body. So the Full Metal Alchemist ends up having full metal prosthetics for both his leg and arm, and his brother's soul ends up being entered into a knight armor, a knight's armor. I genuinely don't know how else to describe that. So it's just like his soul is in a knight's armor, and it's just about they're on this one big journey, but along the way they end up having different storylines occurring. I thought that their personalities were so cute, and I love it so much. It definitely has me interested in reading or in watching the anime. Really love this brotherly dynamic, and I love this main character. I think he's so funny, and I like that he's considered this hothead, but he's also super funny in my opinion. Love it. Next up, I got both 19 and Bad Friends by Enko. Both of these are graphic novels. No, just kidding. Both these are manuals. This one follows a young woman who is kind of cataloging her relationship with this individual, or with this other young woman who is considered a bad friend. She's considered a friend that would lead the main character in a bad light. She doesn't have a good home life. She doesn't take school too seriously. She seems to be just a very mean and angry person. She's getting in trouble a lot in school and at home and just in a lot of different situations. So she's considered a bad friend that is supposed to, that everyone is saying to the main character, she's going to lead you in a bad direction. She's a bad influence. She's a bad friend. And it's just about the main character documenting and talking about their relationship in high school and how their relationship progressed throughout the course of their friendship. I really enjoyed that book. Next up is 19 by Enko. This is just about a 19-year-old and the realities of being a 19-year-old. Based on what I read in Bad Friends, this is probably going to be very heart-wrenching, raw, and honest, and I can't wait to get to it. But yeah, it talks about Enko looks back on her own tumultuous adolescence. I have Death Note volume... Is this upside down? It is. In my defense, most of these letters are sideways, so how the hell was I supposed to know? Next up, we have Death Note, the Black Edition, the first book of this, which is volumes 1 and 2 of Death Note. That's great for me. Love these editions. Look at it. Just look at it. Y'all have seen them. Y'all know how beautiful they are. Love it. But Death Note is... I don't know that much about it, so I'm just going to describe what I know about the anime, and that is that there is a book where if you write an individual's name in it, they are going to die. And so it is about an individual getting hold of this notebook and using it and not quite understanding the full range of the consequences of using this notebook. And yeah, I definitely need to get to this one because it has been calling to me for such a long time now. Also, the art in this book, quite stunning. I love how subtly I just saw a very terrifying page and was able to keep going. I love that for me. Next up, on the complete opposite end of that, we have Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. I'm not going to describe what this book is about, but Heartstopper in general is about Nick and Charlie. First of all, let's talk about how we're literally days away from the Heartstopper Netflix adaptation hitting all of our cakes. It's here. Heartstopper is here, y'all. Anyways, Heartstopper Volume 4 is the continuation of Nick and Charlie's relationship. Heartstopper in general is about Nick and Charlie, who are two friends navigating high school together, essentially, and how their relationship develops over the course of time. It is very well done. This volume in particular deals with notes of living with an ED and loving someone with an ED. So it is definitely, check out the trigger warnings for that. I would say I loved it. I really loved it because it was like, I think it was Aaron from Book to Busy who was like, it was basically like a PBS special about living with an ED, which like it totally is, but I loved it for that very reason. I appreciate how these like hard topics are being broached in this like really cozy, feely, kind, and considerate way. Next up, I think so far my absolute favorite things that I have acquired is Dill on my laptop. I know my laptop is okay, but I do not like that. Next up, I have, quite frankly, my favorite thing from this year. Like, literally has brought me so much happiness. I'm going to read this a million times. I just know it. This has a very special place in my heart, like the way Winnie the Pooh does. Like, this is definitely about to be my comfort series, and that is the Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill. I have all 3 of the books that are out so far. I hope more are coming, and I need to look into that. You would think I would have looked into that by now, but I haven't. So we have the Tea Dragon Society, the Tea Dragon Festival, and the Tea Dragon Tapestry. I'm not going to tell you what they're about because I went into it completely blind, and I definitely recommend going into it that way, but just know that this follows a world in which there are tea dragons. So literally tiny dragons that are based on various types of teas. And just like tea is like a comfort drink, this graphic novel series is definitely like a comfort graphic novel series. It is just the coziest, greatest thing ever. It touches on family, friendships, family relationships, and friendships. It's just so cute. The towns that these books take place in are also very cute. There's so much representation occurring. In the second book, there's representation for ASL speakers. I got me a mountain chamomile, which like I'll describe to you what a freaking mountain chamomile is, because when I tell you I read this and I said, oh my god, it is me as a freaking tea dragon. Average length 40 centimeters, average weight 8 kilograms. Tea brewed by leaves and flowers. Care notes: dense wool like fur, requires regular brushing with oils to keep it soft and bouncy. Despite wearing a perpetual expression of grumpiness, mountain chamomile dragons are not actually that much harder to look after than their relaxed regular chamomile cousins. It seems they just alternate between wanting attention and wanting to be left alone, but aren't very good at expressing it. First of all, if that's not a description of a Libra, but specifically this bitch right here, like, hello, thank you, like, thank you for seeing me. I appreciate that. So yeah, I got me one. It's clearly not like an actual one. If these things really existed, I would definitely take care of some tea dragons, is what I'm saying. But they don't actually exist, so I will settle for my stuffed animal because, again, they make me so happy. Next up, I have Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sulin Tan, and this follows a Chinese mythology of the Daughter of the Moon Goddess. It says here, an enthralling debut fantasy inspired by the legend of Chang'e, the Chinese moon goddess, in which a young woman's quest to free her mother sets her on a dangerous path and pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm. So, yep, literally could not have described it better myself, so we're going to keep it at that. Next up, I got Beloved by Toni Morrison. I definitely need to take off the sticker, but once again, when I read it again, I will take off the sticker. I want to try and collect all of these in the hardcovers instead of the paperback, but we shall see. So if you don't know what a Beloved is about, it is about a woman who lived in slavery but no longer does. She has gone through many devastating and traumatic experiences as a slave, including losing her husband, having to bury a child, but she no longer is in slavery, but is still haunted by some memories of it and is literally haunted by a spirit that calls her beloved. So that's what this story is about. Love Toni Morrison. One of the greatest authors ever. Next up, we have You Don't Know Us Negroes and Other Essays by Zora Neale Hurston. Just black excellence bag, clearly. It is a collection of essays by Zora Neale Hurston, particularly in the time of the Harlem Renaissance and discussing like black girlhood, I believe. Is it girlhood or womanhood? I believe girlhood. Collectively, these essays showcase the roles enslavement and Jim Crow have played in intensifying black culture rather than destroying it, and surviving black people reinterpreted every aspect of American culture, modifying the language, mode of food preparation, practice of medicine, and most certainly religion. Hurston lifted the veil of white supremacy cast on black people and revealed the soul of race. Why did that make me want to cry? So yeah, collection of essays by Zora Neale Hurston. Another great writer. Oy vey. Lord Jesus. I didn't know these three were going to be that heavy. But next I have my seasons edition. You would think that after all the times of speaking about these I would know if it's seasonal or seasons, and I don't know. Oh, the seasons editions. It says it here. Wow, I'm dumb. It really says it. Anyways, I have 3 seasons editions of some classics. So first up, we have Sense and Sensibilities. This was gifted to me by Mel from Mel Reads. She was my Secret Santa over at the Citadel, and this was her present to me. So thank you, Mel. And then after I had that Sunny edition, I got myself 2 more. So we have Alice in Wonderland. If you don't know, this is like one of my favorite classics ever. I actually like at least the first live action remake of the story. I think it's very fun. I love the story and like, love it. Alice in Wonderland. And the Wonderland collection. And then we have Jane Austen's Persuasion. This one is about a woman who is considered like a spinster and her time, basically thinking about like lost opportunities in romance that she is experiencing due to her allowing other people's thoughts and opinions of her sway who she loved when she was younger, and now here she is unmarried and people still don't like her. So what was the point of all that, really? We're on our last pile, y'all. I can do this. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is the story of Patroclus and Achilles. Patroclus? I don't know. And it says, we were like gods at the dawning of the world, and our joy was so bright we could see nothing else but the other. This makes everybody cry, which is why I'm scared to read it. Next up, I have Time as a Mother by Ocean Vuong. This is his first collection of essays to be published since the passing of his mother, and it delves on topics of grief and just life in general. Very, very beautifully done. Amazing poems in this collection, especially the ones that are especially dedicated to his mother. Just beautiful. Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco. I am so ready for Kingdom of the Feared to come on. Like, hurry up. But Kingdom of the Wicked, this is the second book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, I'm gonna say. And so I'm not gonna talk about what that book's about, but Kingdom of the Wicked is about a young witch who ends up going through a devastating experience and ends up having to align with one of the princes of hell, who is Wrath. She has to team up with him to solve this great mystery that has, again, impacted someone she really loves. I personally like Kingdom of the Curse more than Kingdom of the Wicked. I feel like that is an unpopular opinion, but I said what I said. Kingdom of the Wicked, I could not stand Amelia. Kingdom of the Curse, I at least could understand her. So I went from not being able to stand her to understanding her. So, progress. Next, I have The Angel's Game by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This is the second book in the Library of Forgotten Books. Is that the title, or did I just say the title of another book that I said today. What? Oh no, that was The Library of the Dead. So yeah, it's from the Library of Forgotten Books standalone series. So it's a series of books, but they're all standalones, and this is a psychological thriller. In the second book in said series. I don't know much about it. I love Shadow of the Wind, which means that I absolutely need to continue on with the story. I thought the way Carlos Ruiz Zafón depicted romance and love and passion was just so beautifully done, and I'm really hoping to see more of that. But if that's not what we're getting in this book, I can't wait to see where he takes me. Did I say the library? It's a cemetery of forgotten books. And so yeah, I can't wait to follow the new character. Next up, I have A Curious Beginning by Deanna Raybourn. This is the first book in the Veronica Speedwell series. Veronica and Stoker, they got me. They got me, y'all. This follows Veronica Speedwell. Veronica Speedwell is a woman scientist of sorts. She goes around and like captures insects and sells them to like museums and other scientists to do what they will with them. But after traveling the world, and she prefers to travel the world outside of England, but she ends up having to return to England once the woman that took care of her passes away. There was 2 women that took care of her in her youth and like raised her, and the final one passes away, and so she comes to bury her and, you know, take care of her belongings, and then she's going to leave England once more and continue on in her journeys in life, or so she thinks. After she leaves the funeral, Veronica finds herself in this great mystery and finds herself aligned with Stoker, who is this tattooed, like, I'm talking sleeves and an eye patch, because we love a pirate. Whole thing, I love it. Veronica is this like bad bitch. You're not going to tell me how to live my life. I'm going to do what I'm going to do because I'm not harming anybody character. And Stoker is this like stoic, leave me alone. I don't want to be around people. I would prefer not to be around people. So I'm going to do everything in my power to convince you that I'm this like mean, bad guy that you don't want to be around character. And then these 2 characters with seemingly poor personalities connect and become friends of sorts, or at least become allies in solving the mystery that Veronica finds herself in. And I know that is very vague, but personally think that it's best to go into this with as little knowledge as possible. Just know that Veronica and Stoker, great characters. Like, I don't think I usually like characters like them, or at least I don't think I would ever think to mesh these 2 personalities together, but it fits so well. Their chemistry leaps off the page. Next up, I have Twisted: The Tangled History of Black Hair Culture by Emma Dabiri. I apologize because I just know I said that wrong. And this is a nonfiction book documenting the tangled history of Black hair culture. If you don't know, I did a documentary surrounding Black hair in the workplace, particularly surrounding the Crown Act, which, if you don't know what the Crown Act, it basically is an act being passed across America and across the states of America, stating that businesses and schools, like public schools, can't create policies that discriminate against natural hair, because that was actually happening. Like, there was actual workplaces and actual schools discriminating against children and people for the hair that naturally grows out of their head. So now we have to have laws that tell you you can't judge a person based on the hair that comes out their head. So anyways, I did a documentary based on that, and I found out that this book exists and definitely wanted to read it. And my lovely friend Yaya gifted me this book to celebrate moving into my office. So thank you so much, Yaya, for that. And that was just such a nice thing for you to do, like help me document that. I just realized another person gifted me another book, and I don't. Okay, let's keep going because my battery's apparently dying. Next up, I have Yellow Wife, a woman's captivating tale of survival in the most notorious slave prison of the antebellum South. Definitely want to read this. I was hoping to read it in February and just didn't get a chance to read it. So definitely will. I don't believe I said the author's name, but this is by Sadiqa Johnson. definitely want to get to this one. Next up, I have Middle Game by Shauna McGuire. This follows two twins, Roger and Dodger, who one of them is extremely smart, like with math and science and stuff, and the other one is extremely smart with like words in the language, in the English language. And it's just about experiments that are basically this person adopts them and really hones onto these gifts of theirs to see if they can like intensify them to like the limit. I don't know. It's very like no one gives a good synopsis of this, and it's just like going to it blind. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Next up we have They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, and this is about a female serial killer killing off people at a university that are known for like harming women, sexually assaulting women, tackling frat culture and stuff like that. Definitely need to read this. You had me a female serial killer. Next up, I have Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. This is about, so in real life, back in the day, two women were murdered on this site. And I believe that it was a school at the time. Or an insane asylum. One of the two. I know that those two things aren't the same, but I can't remember which thing it is. Anyways, two women were murdered, and in present day, they decided to make a movie about it. And the two actresses that are playing these roles end up finding themselves in like a similar predicament, and like odd things are happening on set, odd things are happening in real life that are mirroring what occurred to these women and the mysteries surrounding these women. So yeah, we have Plain Bad Heroines. I cannot wait to get to this one. That was a very vague synopsis. I don't remember that much about this book, and I was waiting until I didn't remember that much about this book, so I'm very excited to get into it now. Like, I'm like, yes, I finally can't remember. Next up, we have Winnie the Pooh, The Complete Tales of Winnie the Pooh. This is the Barnes & Noble edition of it. And if you don't know, I absolutely love Winnie the Pooh. It is deeply entrenched in my childhood. In my nursery was all Winnie the Pooh. That is why I love him so much. Like, he is just all about, like, my entire childhood is Winnie the Pooh. From literally the time I came out my mama's womb. So, me and Winnie the Pooh, best friends for life. And so I finally bought myself The Complete Tales of Winnie the Pooh because it's this, if anything is comfort to me, it is these tales. This is my childhood. This is my everything. I love it so very much. It means the world to me. My lovely friend Diana from the Citadel gifted me Aladdin in the Animated Classics Disney editions. These are stunning, and I definitely want to collect more of the editions. Diana gifted me this for moving into my office. I am about to cry. Because Aladdin also means the absolute world to me, and like I literally had like I had like literally all the collections up there, like all the books up there, and yet she got me Aladdin, which is just so special to me because Aladdin was like one of my very favorite cartoons when I was a little girl. I watched that movie so many times. Princess Jasmine was my absolute favorite princess until Tiana came along, and that was like finally there's a black girl. But literally Jasmine was like my favorite princess. I loved her. I love Aladdin and his story. I love Genie. Like, I love all of this. And then just look at how stunning this book is. I'm like hiding my face, but I know you guys can't hear me if I'm behind a book, so it's like weird. But yeah, this is just like, it has the story of Aladdin, but like, oopsies, accompanied with like some of the original art. You can see like literal illustrations. Can you see? So yeah, and shout out to my friend Ash for making me aware of these books. So that is all the books I have for you guys. My cumulative haul. Don't judge me. Like I said, this is from October to now, April, and I did go on a book buying ban, so it's not like any of these books I bought all too recently. Alright, so that is all for today. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my face, my voice, and my actionness, go ahead and press that like button down below and press the subscribe button and bell notification if you'd like to be notified when I upload. If you'd like to stay connected with me as I like to stay connected with you, I of course will leave my social medias linked down below. And if you'd like to support this channel further, I will leave my Amazon wishlist and coffee link down below as well. So right here is my little tea dragon friend. My mountain chamomile. Like, technically the name is supposed to be mountain chamomile, but if you guys have a name for our little friend here, let me know. I don't yet have a name for them, and I don't know what to name. I don't know what to name them. Oh goodness. This is how I picture like actually having a tea dragon would be like just sit on my shoulder. Or I would have a little pouch for him. But anyways, that is all for this video. Like I said, if you have a name for our little friend here, go ahead and leave that down below. But with that being said, I believe that that is everything, although I am probably forgetting something because I always forget something. But bye guys.